Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Or afternoon.
Yeah, it's almost afternoon here.
How's the weather?
Very sunny and hot. How about you?
Same, but not overly hot, kind of just right.
Yeah, it's hot for here. Usually we don't get that much hot weather, but recently it's been like 30s, which is a lot for us.
Celsius, right?
Yes.
Over here in the States, we use Fahrenheit. But I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
sure all of the other countries use Celsius, don't they? It's
Yeah.
just us North Americans who like doing our own thing.
Yeah, totally.
Good morning, Nina. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
All right, let me go ahead and get our video going with
Yeah.
our friend we're going to talk about today. Where did he go?
You lost him?
I lost him. I just pulled him up and I just lost him.
That's
That's okay.
okay. Did you watch it before?
Michael.
No.
It's a good one.
It's a good one? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Hi, Live
yeah.
Panic. Good morning. Or afternoon. All right. I think I have our friend here ready to go. Window, tab. Yep. Okay.
Yay.
You can see that? Perfect.
Yes.
Let me just make sure I can still see our StreamYard. Okay, perfect. There it is. And then let me make sure I can still click over here. Alrighty, so today we are going to be reacting to somebody other than Ray Higdon. And of course, I have my amazing friend Heather C here.
Hello.
So make sure you go subscribe to her if you are not already. And this man is named Eric Worre, and he's also a big figure in the multi-level marketing training material sphere, right, Heather?
Yes, look at the number of subscribers he has. I can't see it exactly, but it's like over 300,000, and his videos go back like 10 years. So he's huge, and he has some videos that have over 1 million views.
Wow. So he's a big honcho.
Yes.
All right.
I have a question before we start. Do you want me to not ask you to pause it every 5 seconds? Like, should we let it play for a minute, or what's your preference?
I think how we did it last time when we were on your channel, it was like about every minute or so, every minute and a half. I think that's good.
Okay, sounds good.
Sound good? Okay.
Yeah.
And then everyone who's watching, make sure that you leave us your comments in the chat box.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Do you want to put it on full screen?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
When you need to say you're sorry, that looks a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael says, my wife is resentful that I've gotten involved in network marketing again after having failed numerous other times and spent a ton of money doing it. I had even promised her that I would never get involved again and meant it. But things took a turn, and here we are again. Sounds to me, Michael, like you did not negotiate with your wife when you found this new opportunity. You didn't sit down with her. You just signed up and told her, hey, I know I said never, but I could have told you never to make that promise, because once you're in network marketing, you're going to be in again. It's just part of it. But give some advice on what you would, now that this has happened, what advice do you have for Michael to be able to patch up this issue? And then I'll give you my opinion.
Okay, I think we made it almost a full minute, so I think this is a good place to stop. Do you have anything? Hi, Christy. Good morning or afternoon.
It's interesting how he said once you're in network marketing, you are always going to be in network marketing, and he should not have made the promise to his wife that he would never do it again. I think that's interesting. Sounds a little bit culty. What do you think?
I agree. I thought that was very interesting, that it's basically like a given. Once you do one company, it's just going to be assumed that you're going to get involved in another one down the line. But then also in the beginning, he was very nonchalant, rephrasing this person, Michael's question about how, He was in multi-level marketing companies, and then he lost a whole bunch of money. So I think that's a perfect example of why you shouldn't get involved in multi-level marketing companies, because that's the norm. So going into it thinking something different, you're kind of just setting yourself up to have unrealistic expectations. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And there's a whole other aspect too. If he keeps failing, why is he continuing to go back? That's really sad. And you think that someone would understand, hey, I've done 4 companies already and I'm going into debt every single time. Maybe it's not me, maybe it's the structure, but people do go from MLM to MLM hoping that the next one will be what they need and that they'll be able to help their families. And it's just so sad because they're stuck in this endless cycle.
Yeah, and it has to do with people who are recruiting them, convincing them, "Oh, our MLM is different. We're not like the rest. This is not like your grandma's MLM," which is something I've been hearing recently.
Yeah.
So people are just very manipulative into getting them in the MLM when really they're gonna have the same results. And Lift Panic said, "Sounds like it was not a good experience before, or why would he have made that promise exactly?" So in the back of his mind, Michael, the person who asked this question, he already knows that this probably isn't a good idea.
And also, one more thing, every MLM says that they do the inviting right, that everyone else is spammy, everyone else does gross cold messages, and then if you go to their MLM, then you'll be taught the authentic way to sign people up and sign up customers. But you and I learned this in the last video with Ray. It's all spam, even if you don't send a link right away. Cold messaging is spam if you have an ulterior motive. You're not just trying to be nice on the internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Nina mentioned, I think it's a desperate attempt to have a job. That's a really good point. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, just wanting to have a job, wanting to have a way to bring in income for their family. And unfortunately, these MLMs are right there ready to take advantage of that. And then Nina also added, maybe he's unemployed and needs people to think he is employed. Yep, that
Good
could
point.
be. Thanks for all the comments, everyone. All right, let's continue listening. And we did a really good job. We made it 56 seconds without pausing. And Heather, is this his wife right here? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Marina.
Marina, gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Again, just have a conversation, and like I said before, give your spouses your story, that why it's important to you, why you made a decision to get back.
Before the conversation, can I back up to one thing?
Sure.
That I think you need to have before the conversation? Apologize. You need to say sorry. You need to say sorry for making a decision that affected the entire family without consulting your number one business partner, your spouse. You need to just go say, I screwed up. If she's hugely resentful, you guys did not come to a meeting of the minds. And you have to be successful at least educating your spouse to the point that they support you. Even if it's grudging support, but they're not going to be mad at you and resentful. You don't want to have resentment in the house. The business is not worth that. So,
but yeah, like you said, Eric, first of all, of course, the apology needs to be made there. And
let's just pause it because we're going in on 2 minutes now. I actually appreciate the fact that he came out and said, you should apologize. You should say, hey, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that without talking to you. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great point. He didn't say, oh, they're negative, just ignore the negativity. He's saying, yeah, if you promised her that you weren't going to do it again and you did it, you broke a promise and you need to apologize and like try to make it right with her. And so I do appreciate that. Most of the time, I think, yeah, the family members are painted out to be negative and toxic. And in some cases, I'm sure they are negative and toxic. But if it's a good relationship you have with your family members, they just want the best for you. And he's going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that you mentioned that, I'm wondering, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's such a nice person. I'm glad he said that. But then on the other hand, it could also just be a tactic so that one day maybe the wife can get involved in the MLM too. So not everything might be just out of the goodness of his heart.
Maybe.
And then Liv Panic said, if he is unemployed and this is his solution, heaven help him and his wife. Yeah, I agree. They're just going to go further into the red zone. And then Nina said, I don't think the husband is honest on any level. Yeah, it's definitely not cool if he had already made that promise that he wasn't going to be involved and then he went and did it anyway.
And I wonder if he was, obviously he's manipulated, but I wonder how this person was encouraged to break that promise, right? If he said, oh, I need to talk to my spouse first, and they said, oh, it's okay, they'll support you, just sign up now, because we know they always have that level of urgency about it, and now's the best time to join. You can't wait. And so I wonder how they actually recruited him.
Yeah, good point. Sorry if there's any background noises, everyone. There's just always construction or gardening happening on my street, and I'm sorry for any noisiness.
I don't hear it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Anything else, or shall we continue?
I'm good.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to disrespect, because she felt disrespected that you didn't talk to her about it and you made a decision and kind of like left her away outside of that whole decision-making process. So that needs to happen first, but then you have to have a conversation with her and explain what made you make this decision, why you want to do it. But as I'm reading your comments, is like you also mentioned that you failed numerous times. So that goes back to she is not supportive because she saw you crawling all this time and not going all in, and
she
not
views you as
making
that sucker that just keeps, buying the stuff on the infomercial that's going to change your life. At some point, you got to turn it into reality, Michael. You've got to go out there and get past your fears and get past your doubts and make something happen.
right.
Should we take another quick pause there? Do you want to go first this time? Do you have anything?
Sure. I think that they're phrasing it as maybe a reason why she's not supporting you is because you haven't gone all in, because you haven't brought home money. How do you know, sir? Like, you don't know, Michael. He might have gone all in. He might have tried his best. He probably did if he wanted to improve his family's financial situation. He probably did what he was told. And he was manipulated into thinking if he just keeps going, his dream is like on the other side of that hill. So I don't like when they always assume that these people aren't trying their best. What about you?
Excuse me. I completely agree with that. When people make assumptions, that is something that's a little bit irritating to me. But it sounded like they're trying to put the blame on the husband that he didn't work hard enough. He didn't take advantage of these opportunities like he should have. I think Eric said he just like bought the infomercial pack but didn't do anything, some kind of analogy. And that is putting the blame on the husband for not succeeding, when I'm sure it wasn't the husband's fault, but it's the structure and the way that MLMs are set up that is what's keeping him from actually making any money.
And it's that kind of language that would make Michael continue on, right? Like, oh, well, I just didn't go all in enough in this company. So this company's better. If I just try harder, then I'll succeed in this company.
Exactly. Well said. Yep. And Liv Panic says, victim blaming again. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely the vibe I was getting.
I'm good.
Okay, perfect.
But my advice is eat some crow, have some humility, sit down and apologize, find out how she really feels, ask her how she feels about this, and listen. Not to try and convince her, but to try to understand where she's coming from. Because if she's like most wives, she wants the best for you. She's trying to protect you. She's trying to protect the family. She's trying to keep you from making boneheaded decisions.
And just it's painful for her to watch that, you're just trying and trying again, and you bringing your hopes high, and then it's not working. So she doesn't want you to see fail or be disappointed. So she's taking it very close to her heart. But if you show her some wins, she will be very supportive. So, but again, you need to go out of your comfort zone. You need to learn the skills necessary and actually produce some results.
Now, I'm going to
want to pause.
So yes, the wife isn't supporting Michael because he didn't learn the skills necessary and he's not producing results. I don't like that. It's not Michael's fault. We don't know Michael. Like, leave him alone. And also, why isn't there ever in this conversation? So, if your wife is really against it and she feels passionately about it, say, okay, I'm going to quit.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what any normal objective person would tell you to do if your wife was so against this. But instead, what they're saying is go get back into another MLM company, but this time have some wins, have some success. When that's just setting him up to go back onto the hamster wheel and keep turning his wheels and not get anywhere.
And I hate the assumption that if you just bring in money to the household, then your spouse is automatically going to support you. And
Yeah.
I'm sure we don't know Michael's wife, but there might be other reasons why she wasn't supportive. Maybe he wasn't hanging out with them. Maybe he wasn't spending time with the kids. Maybe his mental health went downhill. There's lots of reasons why a spouse wouldn't be supportive.
And I really like how you mentioned that it doesn't matter. Well, I'll say for some it wouldn't matter how much money is getting brought home, but if that money is tied to, like, let's say something nefarious, or let's say your husband has to work so much overtime, and yes, he's bringing in money, but you can never see him. It just really doesn't. The most important thing is not always money. There's so many other different factors that go into that.
I agree. And if my spouse was completely against something and had good reasons and explained them clearly, I would consider stopping whatever that issue was, you know?
Yeah.
It's not on Michael to convince his wife.
Yep, exactly. Heather, I don't know if I've told you this before, but when I was like super close to joining Rodan and Fields, my husband had told me, don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, okay, I promise I won't. And then, of course, one day I'm on the website, I'm about to sign up. Just out of a stroke of luck, their website wasn't working. And then it gave me enough time to actually look through the packet. And I was like, oh, this looks like a pyramid. But it's just really interesting how even if you have your spouse or a friend or a family member telling you, hey, you shouldn't do this, it doesn't look right, the manipulation of outside factors can still really drive you to make a choice that is not going to be good for you or for your relationship. Because I can tell you, when I told my husband about that, it was a little bit funny, but then he was also like, I thought we had talked about it and I thought you weren't going to do it. And I had to explain, oh, sorry.
It's all about where we were in our life at that time too, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you were at a point in your life where like maybe you really wanted to work from home, or like if someone is in like a financially unstable part of their life, maybe they're just out of school, like they might agree with their spouse that it looks a bit sketchy, but they're like, oh, but I need to fix my finances. I need a job. I can't find a job right now, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was an interesting story.
Okay, looks like we have about 3-ish minutes left.
Okay.
I'll tell a private story.
All right.
So Marina,
Over those faces.
she thinks she needs to lose weight, which she doesn't at all. Look at her.
That's private.
It's ridiculous. But
Why is he bringing that up?
she buys everything. Everything. Magical electric suits. Special devices. You can't imagine the stuff. All these exotic things, because it might work. You don't know.
Whatever
it might
works,
work.
man.
And let me tell you something. If we weren't wealthy, it would be an issue. I'd be like, come on, how many things are you going to buy? How many times are you going to buy their story? It's just a story. This one comes from the placenta of a unicorn. This one comes, this one you get it, put the suit on. Literally the suit. The suit is an electrical suit. You put all electrical suit and it like shocks you while you work out, and it gives you like.
Does not shock you.
What does it do then?
Just makes your muscles work.
Oh my God.
See, this is non-supportive spouse.
No, I'm supportive.
Do you think she knew that he was going to bring that up? Do you think that was pre-planned?
I don't know, hopefully, but I'm not sure why, if she's actually embarrassed here, like Lip Panic said, now he's embarrassing her. I agree. If she's actually embarrassed here, why couldn't she have said, I don't want to talk about this. We're not putting this in the video. Because I don't think this was live. And why do you need to bring this up? It's
Yeah,
so uncomfortable.
it really is. And it's tone deaf too. His comment of, if we weren't so wealthy, then it would really be an issue. Even if you're super wealthy, that doesn't mean you should be wasting a lot of money on tchotchkes and stuff like that. But also just that seems personal and private. And just the way that she kept looking at him kind of made me feel like maybe that wasn't pre-planned and he was just ad-libbing there. And she's like, shut up. That's my
Yeah.
private stuff.
And MLM distributors and I guess the coaches do it too. They're all told to share private things to relate to more people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that makes sense when it's you sharing your own, your own experiences. But for him to kind of like put her on blast like that, if that wasn't planned, then I'm sure after this video stopped, she was like, Eric, be quiet. What are you talking about?
And he could have thought of a different example too, right? Like he didn't have to say something so as particular and like as private and personal as weight loss, because we don't know her. We don't know Marina, but maybe she has like issues with body image. Maybe you need to keep certain things in the family, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nina commented and said, is the purpose to speak about this because they have a lot of money? It sure seemed like it. It sure
Maybe.
seemed like he was trying to slide that in. We're so wealthy. And then
You know you're wealthy.
Oh, yeah. I know, right? Well, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. If you have nothing nice to say, keep your mouth shut. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But
We're
it
almost
was
done.
Huh?
We're almost done.
We're almost done. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. What was the connection between those devices?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, why did he even mention all of those examples of his wife buying all these?
Oh, he'll tell us in a second.
He'll tell us? Okay, got it. Thank you.
It's not a really obvious connection. This was a useless, embarrassing story to tell, but he does connect it back.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Let's keep watching.
I didn't say nothing. I'm like, okay, hey.
Yeah, it didn't say nothing to me. It just said it to the world. That's no big deal.
No, but here's my point. My
She's like,
point
"You're in
is,
trouble."
with that, if this was a life or death situation with the family, I would resent that. But since it's not, I don't care. I don't care. Do what you want to do. Buy whatever you want to buy. Follow whatever you want to follow. I love you exactly as you are. If you decide you want to do something different that make you happy, that's cool. But it's an example of what a spouse would do. That you might not be independently wealthy, Michael, and your wife is resentful because you're putting this energy towards things that she did not see results in. And it's just another one of those things that's piling up that didn't necessarily get results. So,
and maybe that, like you said, it might create some financial troublesome as well because she doesn't view that.
So the connection is that since it's not impacting the family, it's not impacting their finances, and he doesn't care that his wife is buying all of these weight loss things.
So basically, Michael, he needs to be independently wealthy. And if he was just more wealthy, then he could go waste his money on MLMs and it would all be fine.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. A very odd way of kind of flexing their wealth while also kind of putting Michael down about not being wealthy.
And if your wife is buying all of these weight loss things, like, you should care. You should say, sure, we can buy this, but you look great the way you are. You don't need to lose weight, but I can help you if you want. We can go work out together. We can go on like a healthier diet together. I'll be there to support you. Like, you should care, right?
Yeah,
it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should care. And also about just spending money on little trinkets too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little bit weird.
Have about 30-ish seconds left.
Yes.
Okay.
As actual work or money producing activity, and she might feel that all the financial burden now is on her shoulders because you are not producing those results. So it's you need to kind of like examine what is the issue, but more likely if you produce the results, if you have something to show for, I'm pretty positive that she will be much more embracing you in this journey.
I don't know. Like we were kind of mentioning earlier, just because you get the results doesn't necessarily mean that the wife is going to be okay
The
with
skills
it, because
necessary.
she could see it still as a breach of trust that, hey, you agreed that you wouldn't and you did anyway. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. And I don't like when these people try to give relationship therapy or marriage therapy, because we don't know what's going on in that household, and we don't know how exactly a wife would feel when their husband breaches their trust like that. And I feel like the only advice should have been, okay, go to her, apologize, and say, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to quit, or do you want me to give this a shot?
Yeah, exactly.
know?
How can I fix this? Not let me go try to make money and hope she's okay with it.
Let me convince you. Let me convince you and encourage you to get over the disappointment you feel towards me for breaking a promise, because that's a big deal. You don't want to break a promise.
Yeah, it's a super big deal. Yeah.
And I was going to say something else. What was it? Oh, yeah. And Marina was saying something about now your wife may be the only one bringing in the finances, and she may feel like stress and pressure for being the only income earner in the household. And that's something else too. That makes the breach of trust even more serious if, say, like, only thing you're doing is the MLM and then your spouse has to take care of the family financially.
Yeah, exactly. Because probably in cases like that, the wife is bringing in the money, and then maybe that money is getting rerouted into an MLM, and then just as quickly as it came into the household, it's gone. So that would really suck.
Yep. Erin's here. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Erin, how are you? Nice to see you. And then,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Liv Panic asked, is she in an MLM? Do you know if she is?
I don't think so. I think they're both just MLM coaches, but Erin might know if she is here still. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure she is not.
How did he say it? They're probably just independently wealthy. And then
He-
Nina said, I agree. It's a breach of trust.
Horrible. Don't do that to your loved ones. If you promise them something, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And Erin says she's not in an MLM.
Oh, thank you. See,
That's good
I
to know.
wonder why. Is it because she knows that it's a scam?
And they're so wealthy that Eric did a video on his channel saying that for any task that's not worth $500 an hour, to hire it out. And he's like, I don't hang up my Christmas lights. I don't do my garbage. I don't shovel. I don't put gas in my car. So he's coming at it from the perspective of, I don't know how much he's worth, a multimillionaire. So for him, financially doesn't matter if his wife is wasting a lot of money on fitness things. But it shouldn't just be about the money. It should be about your partner's well-being too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think like all of those things that he says that you just mentioned, so tone deaf, because the majority of people who are watching his videos and in MLMs are not going to have that same level of, access and resources to just hire somebody to go do this and that. It's like,
And he said he did that before he had the money to, before he was making millions of dollars. And he did that as like an investment in himself.
Wow.
And Liv Panic said, I heard that one and fell out of my chair. Yeah, it was shocking.
That's must be nice.
I know. He's so tone deaf. And at least he said, don't hire out raising your children. He said, still put your kids to bed, still raise your kids. I said, thank you, Eric. At least you're telling us to be good parents.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this morning or afternoon, whatever time zone you are in. Any last minute things, Heather, before we log off?
I think the lesson of this video is don't take relationship advice from multimillionaire Eric Worre. Don't do it. Yeah. What about you?
I concur. I mean, when he did say apologize to your wife, I liked that. That was good. Everything else after that, meh.
It should have said apologize to your wife and ask her what she wants you to do, and then do what she asks. And then that should have been the end of the video.
And then also Don't embarrass your wife and put her weight loss methodology on blast on the internet for everybody to see.
On a channel with like 300,000 subscribers.
Oh my gosh, I would be mortified.
No privacy, right?
No. All
Okay.
right.
I think I'm good.
Okay, I think I'm good too. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Just a reminder to make sure you're following Heather C if you're not already. And we will see you next time on a future live stream.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye,
Bye,
G.
everyone. Bye, Heather. See you next time.